Hello, everyone, and welcome back to A Plus Parents. And with me today, I have two very, very special guests. And what makes this for me so special is that we get to interview one of our Mr. D Math students. So I'm going to introduce you to both dad and daughter. So Melvin and Sophia Sanchez, and tell you a little bit about each of them. So Melvin is a university professor, professional educator. He gets to teach not only philosophy, which he loves, but also critical thinking. He does most of his education online, and he works for Western Governors University, and he also gets to work with homeschoolers and young people, but mostly working at the college level. So just super excited to have you here as well. And with Melvin is his daughter, Sophia, and Sophia is 9 years old. And I just have to tell you, whenever we get to have one of our students come and be with us and be part of what we're doing on the podcast, to hear their stories, that makes my day. So I'm going to have Sophia tell you a little bit about herself as well. This is her second year of homeschooling. She is an amazing young lady. So we're going to jump right in. So first of all, you guys, thank you for making your day work to be here, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We're great. It's exciting to have you here. So, Sophia, you and I, we've had a little bit of a chance to talk. So here you are, 9 years old. And, oftentimes I ask young people what they want to do when they get older. And sometimes they don't know, but you do know. So tell us, what is it that you want to do when you grow up?
So when I grow up, I want to be an astrophysicist, a musician, a painter, and a mathematician.
I love it. An astrophysicist, a musician, a painter, and a mathematician. So, I'm kind of a math guy, so I like that. But what instrument do you play? What kind of music do you do?
I play piano and I like classical music.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, that's great. So I started playing trumpet when I was 11 years old, and I still play today. But I don't get to practice. You probably get to practice way more than I do now, which is so cool. And I'm glad you like classical music, because that's awesome. So given that you want to be an astrophysicist, a musician, a painter, and a mathematician, I bet you have some really cool hobbies. Can you tell us about some of your hobbies?
Yeah, so one of my hobbies is astronomy. Yeah, so for that, I have a telescope, and I like to look at some things like with my telescope. I like to look at some stars, the moon. Sometimes I look at a galaxy, and I look at a lot of things with my telescope. And I also go to star parties, which is like a bunch of people with a bunch of telescopes, and I get to look through the telescopes.
Wow. Wait, when you look at through the telescopes, what do you get to see?
I see different things. Sometimes I see the moon. It looks really big and bright, and there's a lot of things on it. Sometimes I get to see nebulas, which are like a bunch of stars that are just forming, and they look really nice. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I also
Tell me.
I'm also part of an astronomy club where I get to go to meetings about astronomy.
Wow, that's really cool. You know what's really funny? I don't think I ever knew what a nebula was, and now I do. So thank you for that. So I knew the word. I just don't think I don't think that I knew what it means. So you've been homeschooled now. This is your second year of homeschooling. So what do you like about being homeschooled?
So there are a few reasons why I like being homeschooled. One reason is that I get to learn more in homeschooling. If I want to spend more time on one subject than another, I get to do that. And in regular school, I have a schedule where I do this time of this subject and like that. And I also get to do it anytime. I can do it in the morning. I can do it before I go to sleep. And it's kind of personalized. Like I get to do, if I want to do more science than something else, then I get to do that.
Wow, it's very cool. And I like that you know what it is about having homeschool be personalized. That's so awesome. Okay, so I'm going to take a guess that you've had some pretty amazing experiences since you've been homeschooled. Can you tell us about one?
So one amazing homeschooling experience I have. So one time I was doing a science experiment with vinegar and with hot water and baking soda and colder water. Yes. So So I did that, and then when I mixed the vinegar with the hot water and the cold water, it exploded.
Did it make a mess everywhere? Did you had to clean it all up?
Hmm.
You got
It
to
made
clean it
a,
all up
it made
too?
a, it made a pretty, it was a minor explosion that kind of took us by surprise, but
Oh, okay. Well, so you get now. What did you think was going to happen? And then that's what did happen. But what did you think was going to happen?
That's kind of what I thought was gonna happen when I mixed them together. I knew that there was gonna be some sort of chemical reaction that happened when I mixed the vinegar and the water together. Sort of knew that something was gonna happen, but I wasn't really sure
Wow.
what was gonna
But so
happen.
the explosion was even a bigger surprise. So
Yeah.
that's actually pretty cool. So tell us about so I'm going to take a guess you like science, but knowing that you like math and music and art and painting, what's your favorite subject and why is that?
So I actually don't have a favorite subject. I have two favorite subjects.
Well, okay then. Tell me both of them.
So I like science. I think that's my most favorite subject ever, and I also like math.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. Good, good. What's your favorite part about science that it's your favorite subject of all?
I just like the space stuff. I like astrophysics and astronomy. That's the main reason why I like science.
Wow, oh, that's very cool. And plus, you're in the. Did you call it a star club? Is that how you said that?
Yeah, it's an astronomy club.
An astronomy club. Awesome. And so you get to check all that out. That's so great. All right.
Yeah.
So you look and you get to do all these amazing things as a homeschooler. You get to have your learning be personalized. Here you are 9 years old and having these amazing experiences. So you weren't always homeschooled. So can you tell us what do you think are the differences between being homeschooled and when you weren't being homeschooled?
So in regular school, when I wasn't being homeschooled, just going to school every day, I had to follow a specific schedule. Like I do 20 minutes math, 20 minutes of science, and like that. And then in homeschool, I can do more if I wanted to, and I can do more if I want to, and I get to do it anytime.
That is so awesome. Well, that's really cool. And so I'm going to ask your dad a couple of questions, okay?
Okay.
Okay, that's good. And if you have answers to the questions, you just jump right in too, okay? So Melvin, being an educator, right? And you get to work at the college level and you've been around young people and you get this amazing experience now to be in the homeschool world, right? Um, knowing that you've been in education and you've been an educator for a while, right? What do you see that you see now that you've discovered homeschooling for yourself? And I know we talked before, and homeschooling was something that as you came into kind of stepping away from when the pandemic happened and COVID, it
right.
gave you the opportunity to be at home. So what have you discovered since then about being at home and now saying, well, this is the way to go?
Yeah. So it happened right by accident because the pandemic was not yet over, but a lot of students were going back to school, and that was when there was a big surge in the COVID numbers. And she had not had the vaccine yet because she has some allergies, so we decided to just try it for a year. And yeah, so what I'm really amazed about is the pace that she can go at, and we're very lucky that she's already very self-motivated. And basically, I was telling my wife that during the first week, they're probably trying to figure out the seating schedule, and, the teacher was
Right.
probably learning everybody's name. She was already done with like a whole lesson for that first week in language arts, and she had already started her math curriculum. So it's amazing, like the pace that she can go at. And then also, she's really good at keeping us on schedule too, keeping us on track, staying with that schedule. So that just makes it worthwhile in the sense that we know that she's doing not just what she's supposed to be doing, but way beyond that, more than that, far and beyond.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, and Sophia, here you are, as a 9-year-old, and you're doing a course that we have called Preparing for Pre-Algebra. Now, usually students are a little bit older, right? But here you are
Yeah.
doing that. Now, is that the only math you do? I think, do you do some other math stuff too?
Now, I also have another math class that I take too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us about that class too.
So it's just the basic math class with addition and subtraction and stuff. And I also do some multiplication in there.
So we're going to give you definitely some extra stuff to do in preparing for pre-algebra. So that's awesome. Well, that's really great. And, so it's interesting. So you mentioned about Sophia keeps you on schedule, Melvin, right? So how does she do that? How does she assist you in that?
Well, she'll remind me that, like, for example, mostly with language arts, because language arts has all the weeks planned out with, she's reading the stuff pretty much on her own, the poetry and the novels on her own. And so, but each day has an activity. And so she'll remind us that we're supposed to be on that day. Sometimes it's easy for us, the parents, to fall behind and kind of like, we get caught up with everything we have to do on an everyday basis. But she keeps us reminding us that we have to stay on that schedule. And the math and the other subjects are more structured, so we don't really have to worry about the schedule for those as much. But because for language arts she doesn't have a teacher that's instructing her every week, then it is pretty much up to us, and also social studies, to keep on schedule. But she takes care of that. She'll tell us, we're supposed to be doing this, and and actually once you buy the curriculums that have everything they need, so language arts is a very good example of stuff where she can pretty much, for the most part, do it on her own, because she's doing the readings on her own, and then we're going over specific grammar stuff that goes along with the curriculum. So it's very easy to, in fact, language arts I think is one of the easiest ones for us to work on, because she does the readings pretty much on her own, answers the reading comprehensions questions on her own, and then we just do a little bit of grammar, which I teach logics, and sometimes we get a little bit into grammar. So to me, some of the grammar stuff is very interesting too. For me, I have to look up some stuff, but it's not too hard. And the fact that I also find some of the stuff interesting helps too.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. And I get a chance, I go to a lot of the conventions, and when I'm at conventions, I'm always talking to other people that, develop curriculum, and it is amazing. And of course, and with our, and my kids being homeschooled as well, it's so great to be able to pick up a curriculum and to look at it and to know that the creator of the curriculum has laid out a pacing guide for you and has said, okay, well, here's what you do, and week 1, week 2, week 3, and you can go. But the great thing about homeschooling is that it's a pacing guide, and it really is a guide, and it is something that you can work with. And if you can go faster or slower, or whatever works for you, and you have someone at home that helps keep you on pace. So that's really amazing. Sophia, tell me.
I have a schedule, so this is week 1, this is week 2, week 3, like that. And I also have day 1, day 2, day 3, and like that. So it says what I'm going to do for this day on this week, like that.
Sophia, do you ever have a day when you kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this today or not? Or are you ready to go every day?
I'm ready to go every day.
You're ready to go every day? Okay, so I'm going to ask you for some advice. Are you ready? Okay, here it comes. Because sometimes I know some of our students, and and I have teenagers, so my teens, sometimes they don't want to do it. Now they do, but they don't want to, right? What would you say to people when it's kind of like they're kind of like, I don't know if I really want to do this today, and you want to do it every day? So what advice do you have for other young people to keep them motivated? That's a tough question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think? What would you say if somebody said to you, they go, oh, Sophia, I don't know if I want to do this today. Why is it that you want to do it every day?Maybe just knowing why you want to, that might be the advice all by itself.
Well, maybe you could just do that so that when you finish doing that, you don't have to do it anymore, and then you can move on to the stuff that you want to do.
That's
awesome. That's like me doing the dishes.
I think she's found something that she really likes, which has helped a lot. So finding something that you like is really helpful. And I think that's helped her a lot. So she's found astrophysics and astronomy. And so I'll be honest, she does get distracted sometimes, but she gets distracted researching telescopes, finding out what telescope she wants next.
Oh my God.
Those are the kinds of things that so there are days where she'll mostly on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, where she won't do any math at all during maybe in the morning. But then she's looking up telescopes, and she'll spend hours reading about telescopes and researching telescopes. So because and that has motivated her to do math, because And
Right.
anything we learn about astrophysics or astronomy, there's some kind of math involved. And so I told her, you have to stay on top of the math because all of that is going to make a lot more sense, and you're going to appreciate a lot more of it than when you. In fact, there's a quote from Galileo that came up. Galileo said that math is the language of the universe, or something like that.
He said that the universe cannot be understood without knowing math.
There we go. See?
Oh, Galileo. I'm with you, Galileo. That's awesome. And I like how you knew it. You're ready to go. Sophia, I want you to know that advice you just gave is really powerful. Like sometimes when there's things that you don't want to do those things first so that you can get to the good stuff and then get to the things you want to do, that that those other things that sometimes you don't want to do are done and out of the way. I think that's great advice. And knowing that you're 9 years old and you figured that out already, that is really cool, because that makes a difference. For me too, like I was talking about the dishes, but one of the things, I have to get up in the morning and exercise. And if I don't do it first thing in the morning, I probably won't do it during the day. So I want to get up and do it and get it out of the way so I can get back to the things I like to do. And for me, sometimes I like to do math. So believe it or not, I like to do the math problems and have fun with it and check in on our students to see how they're doing too. So that's awesome. So one of the things, Melvin, and you've got having a really strong young person in your house that is interested in academics, and she's interested in the things that she wants to do, and she knows who she wants to be, and it's just so amazing, right? How do you manage for her being able to socialize and work with her and have her that she's still out and about and being around young people that are her own age?
Yeah, so we make it an intentional. It's definitely something that we're very intentional about, and that I think is probably the biggest challenge for homeschooling is finding that time. And so we have set up times where she has met with the people in the astronomy club. They have younger kids as well. There's a couple that has younger kids, and just being intentional about setting up meetings with them has helped. Also, the charter school that she's so the homeschooling works with the charter school. They also have a lot of activities that where parents that are in the same school can meet and do together. So we're planning on doing a lot of those as well this year, so that she does stay connected with kids that are her age.
That's awesome.
But you have to basically be very intentional about it.
Absolutely.
Because we get caught up in, like I said earlier, my wife and I get caught up in all the other stuff we're doing, and she'll remind us that she needs that interaction, because she'll tell us, why don't we talk, and like she wants to have conversations with us. And so it's definitely something that we have to be very intentional about.
It's so great. There was a time, and this was, years ago, 15, 20 years ago, that was one of the biggest things that people struggled with about homeschooling was, how do we socialize young people, right? And, we keep seeing more and more opportunities to be able to do that and what it's like. And, one thing that I can say, and Sophia, just talking to you, I can tell that it's working, because there's a way you can speak to me like it's no problem at all. Like you're ready to talk to me, and you communicate so well. And I'm going to take a guess that when you're around people your own age, that it's just a lot of fun for you, and you get to be around people and do things that they like, that you like in common, like things like astronomy. So that is so cool. Well, what I like to do, if it's okay with you guys, is let's do this again, because what I'd like to do is to kind of keep up with how it's going for you. And we'll kind of see as the new things that you're into and what you're discovering about astronomy and all the things that and as you get into more about music and math and everything that you're up to and all the science that you're learning about. We'd love to hear more about what you're learning. Would that sound okay to you?
Yep.
Okay, good. Awesome. Well, that would be great. Well, Melvin and Sophia, thank you for making your day work to be here. It's super great to have you here, and we'll do this again soon. And for everyone listening in, I hope that you got the opportunity to find out the joy of learning through the eyes of an amazing 9-year-old like Sophia. So everyone, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on A+ Parents. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.